I'm going to show you how to knit the butterfly stitch, and for my swatch I'm going to cast on 27 stitches. That's 27 stitches. In the first row, I'm going to knit across all the stitches. The first stitch of each row is an edge stitch, so I slip it unworked knitwise. And then I knit the rest of the stitches. The last stitch is also an edge stitch, and so I knit it like that. I now move on to the purl row. The first stitch again is the edge stitch, so I slip it knitwise. Then bring the yarn forward to purl 5 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I move my yarn to the back, to the right side of my work, and I slip the next 5 stitches purlwise. So insert purlwise through the front leg and slide it off onto the right hand needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to purl the next 5 stitches, so I bring my yarn forward. And it's really important that your yarn is nice and loose here, so don't pull too tightly. You want to create a long loop or float on the right side of your work. So purl loosely. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just going to show you what it looks like on the other side for now. Here's the loop we've made on the right side of our work. I'm going to slip another 5 stitches purlwise, so I bring my yarn to the back, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I purl 5 stitches again. It's 4 and 5. This last stitch is my edge stitch, and so I purl it. You can now see that on the front of my work I have 2 loops running over the slipped stitches. For the third row, I knit all the stitches. So slip the edge stitch knitwise and then knit across. There we go. And row 4 is a repeat of what we did in row 2, in our purl row. So slip the first stitch knitwise, purl 5 stitches, and then slip 5 stitches purlwise with the yarn at the back. So bring the yarn forward and purl 5 stitches. And purl the last edge stitch. And here you can see that we've created a second loop on top of the ones that we made before on the front of our work. I'm going to repeat these last 2 rows once more. So I'll knit 1 row and then purl 1 row with the slipped stitches to create a 3rd loop. As you can see, I now have 3 loops on top of each other, and in my knit row I'm now going to catch these loops to create the little butterflies. So as usual, I slip the edge stitch knitwise and then I knit 7 stitches. I've now reached the middlemost stitch above the 3 loops, that's this stitch here, and I'm going to knit it together with these loops. I do this by inserting my needle underneath these 3 loops. So the needle goes in here, under these loops, so that's 1, 2, 3 loops. Then insert the needle knitwise through the next stitch, yarn over, and pull the yarn through, going back out from under all the loops, and then drop it off the left hand needle. And then knit 9 stitches. Until you reach the middle of the next group of 3 loops. Let me just double check my stitches. I need 1 more stitch, and this next one is the middlemost stitch. So as before, insert your needle under all 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. Insert knitwise through the next stitch, yarn over, and pull out from under all 3 loops, and then drop it off the left hand needle. And then knit the last 7 stitches. Plus the edge stitch, which is also knitwise. Pull your work nice and straight so that the wings are even on both sides of the central stitch. And we've now finished knitting our first set of butterflies. In row 8, I'm going to stagger the butterfly motif, so let me show you how to do that with my swatch. I stagger the pattern by changing when I slip my stitches. So I begin by slipping the edge stitch knitwise. Then instead of purling 5 stitches here, I'm going to start straight away with slipping my 5 stitches purlwise, making sure I keep my yarn at the back on the right side of my work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I bring my yarn forward and I purl 5 stitches. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I repeat this until the end of the row. Slip 5 stitches here one last time. And purl the final edge stitch. And you can clearly see here how the loops are staggered on the right side of your work. Keep following the pattern and this here is what you should have, and that's the butterfly stitch.